Hi, and welcome back to your 30-day happiness experience. I hope that you have been enjoying your time with us. Today, we have one of the final guest speakers. I am super excited to welcome Kim Argetsinger.
Got it.
Kim is a certified success and life coach who helps ambitious, creative people get out of their own way and live a life filled with the work and play they love. Her compassionate style of coaching helps clients break down the barriers holding them back, take inspired action, and bring their vision to the next level. When Kim isn't coaching, you can find her getting her sweat on in a spin class, rocking out to Taylor Swift, exploring Manhattan, or indulging in a glass of wine with a loved one. Hi, Kim, and welcome.
Hi, it's so nice to be here.
Give me 1 second. Let me get my questions here for you.
Sounds good.
So, can you tell everybody what happiness means to you?
That's a good one. So happiness to me is joy. It's that frequency we're in when we're in the present, we're in the now, and we're not worrying about the future. We're not thinking about everything in our past, and we're able just to stop and appreciate the little moments in our life. To me, that's happiness. It's that excited, just open feeling.
That's really beautiful. I'm like taking all your words and thinking, yes, in this moment, like not worrying about anything in this very moment, just being in the experience of what you're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I hear that you are the celebration queen. You love to celebrate, which is really cool. Can you tell me what the celebration technique is that you teach?
Yeah, so I teach a celebration technique. A little backstory is that I think we all teach the things we most need to hear, and I used to not be a celebration queen and just kind of plow through goals and kind of work my ass off, get to something, not celebrate it, get on to the next thing, and just feel really lousy and not enjoy things when I would get to them, kind of the opposite of happiness. And so this tool, I actually kind of put aside for a long time. I thought it was indulgent. I thought it was something that I could just kind of skip. And it wasn't until I actually thought, well, I'll just try it out, that I started noticing huge shifts in my life. I actually started feeling happy when I accomplished things, and I noticed happiness like trickling into other parts of my life. So kind of a segue into it. And it's a really simple tool that when you celebrate, you just ask yourself a few questions. You ask yourself, what am I celebrating? What is this? And taking note and noticing, why is this important? And then I like to really stop and think about, what did I do to get here? What different things have I done to get to this state, this goal? And then finally, I really want to think about, who have I become in the process? Whatever this goal, whatever this thing I'm celebrating, who have I become in the process of getting here?
That's amazing, and I'm so thankful that you're here, because obviously you're teaching me too. I do not celebrate anything either. Like, I can be that person that just barrels through and never actually step back and go, oh my God, Stacey, do you realize what you've accomplished? And even the little things. So I'm really grateful that you're here teaching us this technique, because I think it's so important. And that brings me to the question of, why is this so important for us?
So celebration is actually a really big thing, and it's linked to happiness. And if I can geek out for a moment, I'll share a couple of ways in which it boosts our happiness. I'm sure I'm probably some of these other things people have touched on. Gratitude. It's kind of the positive psychology's darling, and for good reason. It's, study after study says that gratitude makes us happier. And when we celebrate, we're actually practicing a form of gratitude. So when we celebrate, we're actually stopping and being thankful for what we've done or what we've accomplished, which boosts our happiness. When we celebrate, we're also savoring. Savoring is it's like a fancy way of saying stopping to smell the roses, stopping to appreciate the little things in life. So when we celebrate, we're savoring, we're stopping and taking note of those little things that have helped us along the way, which is another way that we boost our happiness. And then these are my two favorite things. I really geek out about the brain. I love learning about how the brain works, and I love learning how this all interacts with the brain. So when we celebrate, is it okay if I go into this quickly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when we celebrate, we activate the reward circuitry in our brain. Basically what that means is a bunch of chemicals flood out, and one of them is dopamine. Now, dopamine is a neurotransmitter, and when it's released, it gives us that like really sweet feeling of reward. And the other cool thing it does is it makes us want to take action on what gave us that feeling in the first place. So when we celebrate, dopamine's released, we get that really great feeling of reward, and it triggers us to want to do more of what caused that feeling in the first place. So dopamine is this really powerful thing. It's what's, when you get addicted to cocaine or gambling, it's what's released. With celebration, it can actually get us addicted to wanting to feel happier and to achieve more progress. So celebration isn't just this feel-good thing, it's actually helping to rewire our brain for more happiness.
Wow. That's so powerful. I'm just thinking in like all the ways that people are looking for that. They're craving that, and then there's a natural way of like actually getting it. Mm-hmm. I get sometimes from cut chocolate.
Yes.
Like everybody that knows me, like Willy Wonka is like my favorite movie of all time. So I think that maybe I need to work on celebrating more with just being in the moment and taking stock of where I am versus like eating candy.
Or, I mean, candy's sometimes good. You can use that as part of your celebration. You know, you savor that chocolate and have that be part of your celebration ritual. And then you'll just be firing all over the place. It'll be a dopamine party.
So going back to what you said about barreling through, there's times and other people that like this year I'm working on my weight. So other people relate to this that are working on their weight as well. I will barrel through food. I don't like actually take the time to savor what I'm eating. And that is a whole nother webinar or a whole nother like program. We can talk about that. But I realized that when I have gotten connected, stopped in the moment and enjoyed what I was eating, it was so much more like I actually got something out of it versus like eating the whole thing of ice cream and then going like, okay, yeah, like what happened there?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't eat it. So maybe the celebration is a part in what you're celebrating, what you're using to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Or using a glass of wine. Are you tasting it? Are you taking the candy bar? Are you actually tasting the chocolate? Mm-hmm. Good quality? Are you just eating like whatever?
Mm-hmm. And then that goes back to savoring, which is celebration is a form of savoring, but savoring can also just be, really tasting that chocolate, smelling it, appreciating it, which goes back to your topic of happiness. They're all more happier than we don't want to barrel through things. We want to stop and be in the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
Definitely, because I mean, I think that we just get in this mindset of just going, and just bringing us back to taking a mental note of where you are and what you've accomplished, even the smallest thing, like what you're doing in your life and that you are here. Sometimes you just need to be grateful and celebrate that you're here.
I could not agree more. I think we live in a society that celebrates these milestones, and it's so, which is great. That's not to be knocked, but it's so easy to forget to stop at all the little places along the way to those milestones. And so I love that you're doing this because it's taking stock in all those moments.
Thank you.
Of course.
So, can you tell me how this technique has actually transformed your life to create more happiness?
Yes. So like I mentioned earlier, I was a barreler. I can have a little bit of a tendency towards type A-ness. And so I was doing this, set goals and plow through them and push really hard. And then I would achieve them. And I don't know if anyone else has felt that, but when you get to it, and you just kind of feel like, meh, like what was all that hard work for? And when I started using the celebration technique, and I really do, I'll sit with my boyfriend over a glass of wine and we'll talk this out, or I'll journal this out. And when I actually made the time to start doing this, I noticed that not only did I feel happier in the actual moment where I was talking about it, but I would feel more motivated to achieve something else. It would cause up this like compound effect where I was more motivated. But also then when I got to the bigger goals, instead of that like, what was the point feeling, it was this elated like, hell yeah, like I just did that. And I was like, oh, I'm allowed to feel this way. And so, and then that would also then have a compound effect where then I would feel more inspired to go after the next goal, or, you know, to work towards the next thing, but from a really different space, from a space of feeling good and motivated, as opposed to, okay, what's next?
So as you're talking, what's coming up for me is that whole quote about like, it's not the destination, it's the journey, or it's the journey, not the destination. And what I'm feeling in my own self is, as I'm going through this process and I'm learning all the technical stuff of how to bring all these pieces together, I become very frustrated and overwhelmed. And maybe it's because I'm not stopping in the moment to actually enjoy what I'm creating and celebrate what I'm creating, each piece of it, because we like want to get to the end result and then we just try to barrel through and we make ourselves so miserable.
I think it's something we all do. I so resonate with that. And I think I definitely do it. And I was just reading the book Essentialism, and he talks about it. He talks about celebrating small wins, and that when we celebrate the small little things, because I'm sure if you stopped and looked back over what you've done over the past 6 months, you'd be mind blown, but it doesn't feel like that in the present. And he talks about how when you celebrate these small things, they compound and compound until suddenly we have this breakthrough, and it feels like an overnight success. And that goes with happiness as well. You know, it's suddenly it's like, oh wow, but it's the little steps along the way.
That's so beautiful. I'm just thinking about like, oh, I need to start celebrating. And I know that Kim is giving everybody that's listening a beautiful gift. She's giving everyone her celebration technique, correct?
I am. I created a small ebook, and it has a little bit of what we've talked about, and then a technique, a worksheet to work you through it.
I actually cannot wait to get this gift. And for those of you that are listening, just check the link below. It'll all be there for you, and you can get Kim's gift if you're ready to start celebrating and adding more of this in your life to bring more joy and happiness. Kim, I adore you. I love this. I'm really happy to celebrate with you. So thank you for being here with me. And do you have anything else to share before we go?
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for doing this. I think it's a beautiful, important platform. And I think all I want to say is I just want to give everyone permission to celebrate and give everyone permission to be happy. You're allowed to celebrate yourself.
That is wonderful. I receive that.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.